If you're an Ithaca Bomber, you're going to find your way onto this show. That's just how it works around here, right? This is guaranteed. Yeah. If you're an Ithaca Bomber, you're in. Jesse Goldberg, Strassler, is a Bomber, and he's also the play-by-play voice of the Lansing Lugnuts, and that was the home of Kevin Smith from Columbia. KJ in the Blue Jays organization, recently promoted to the advanced A-level team in Dunedin, Florida. Jesse Goldberg Strassler had a chance to call a bunch of his games here, and he joins us on Big Board Sports 104.5, the team, ESPN Radio. Jesse, Roger Weiland, and I think you might know Chris Honorado.
What's up, Jesse?
I sure do. Hey, what an honor and a pleasure.
It's good to hear your voice, man.
It's been a little bit.
It has.
Well, listen, the reason we reached out is certainly Kevin Smith, but a big local story here, and it got even bigger because he gets promoted, and I do believe one day we will see KJ get his chance to make a major league debut somewhere. But the next stop is Dunedin for him. But what is your take on Kevin Smith and what you saw from him with the Lansing Lugnuts?
It, to me, was not just a local story in terms of for you or for me even being from near the University of Maryland, and that's where he started for the Maryland Terrapins. The fact of the matter was he was leading everybody in professional baseball in doubles, major league and minor league. He was leading everybody in minor league baseball in extra base hits and right there in total bases. And he's also playing the best defense in the Midwest League at shortstop and third base. The problem for him was the Blue Jays in the first round had drafted Logan Warmoth out of North Carolina, and Warmoth was playing shortstop for Dunedin. So because of that, we were going to enjoy having Kevin as long as we could. There was just that little bit of a roadblock in his way. But then Warmoth was placed on the DL, and that provided the opportunity. So away he goes. He's deserved this promotion for a while.
Yeah, we know his parents, Dan and Lisa, well, and he's playing better than the young man in front of him, right?
It has just been amazing to watch. He's playing better than most everybody else that I've seen this year. If the season ended today, he's the Midwest League most valuable player and prospect of the year.
Jesse, what was the book on Kevin coming in? So people, around the Blue Jays, what were they telling you about this shortstop they had drafted out of Maryland? There's no way anybody saw, you mentioned the doubles, the home runs, 7 homers, 23 doubles, and 12 swipes, by the way, too, while he was at Lansing.
I think that the book on him was underrated base runner, as you mentioned. When he's on base, he's opportunistic and very smart, that his defense is sensational. But you know what? He's going to split time with Lansing at shortstop because we've got another prospect named Kevin Vicuña. So half of the time he's going to play short, and half the time he's going to play third base. And at the plate, he's got great power, but he strikes out too much. The strikeout numbers had been up last year. Let's see how he adjusts. He's jumping over Vancouver. He's going up to the Midwest League. There were a little bit of worries that he might struggle offensively, and it's been the exact opposite. He cut down on his swing. The strikeouts have gone down. 2-strike approach was terrific, and he did not lose any of his power.
Well, and he's scheduled to face Ian Anderson in Game 2 of today's doubleheader. The other nice local story, Ian Anderson from Shenandoah, when they meet today, that'll be a fun one to pay attention to. What kind of media coverage did Kevin get in Lansing?
From the local media, from television, from the folks around this area, they were starting to get to know his name. But nationally, people were taking notice. The Toronto Blue Jays and their local media, the folks from Rogers, the folks from Sportsnet in Toronto, I set up a phone interview with Shai Davidi, who's the beat writer and covers the Blue Jays all the time. Fangraphs reached out to me nationally and said, we want to have a word with Kevin. So I really do think that folks around the organization and around the nation were realizing this is perhaps the top breakthrough prospect in the Blue Jays organization.
That's a great story.
Jesse Goldberg Strassler with us here on Big Board Sports 104.5, the team, ESPN Radio, play-by-play man for the Lansing Lugnuts, where Kevin Smith started his professional baseball career, and an Ithaca Bomber as well is Jesse. Jesse, you mentioned that he splits the time between short and third. From your observations, how is he best suited going forward, as a shortstop or a third baseman?
I'd love to see him as a shortstop because I consider that a more priority position defensively. But right now, he'll go wherever they put him, and he plays it well. The only reason he was playing shortstop, or the only reason he was playing third base, was because of Kevin Vicuña giving him the time. No, Kevin Smith can play shortstop all the way up to the major leagues, I would say.
How quickly does he make even the next time? How long? Do you have any idea how long he will be in Advanced A? And then after that, you get to AA, and then, boy, things can happen quickly for you.
Here's the timetable for him. We'll see how long Logan Warmoth is on the DL. But right now, he's batting in the middle of the order and the everyday shortstop for Dunedin. The guy right in front of him, the shortstop in AA, is another top prospect in Bo Bichette, which is a great problem for the Blue Jays to have, that they've got this prospect depth at the shortstop position. But because Bo is in New Hampshire, I don't think Kevin moves for the rest of this year. I think he finishes off the year in Dunedin. The only thing that could cause that to change is if the Blue Jays say, Bo's ready to move up. If Kevin continues to excel, if he smashes things in Dunedin, when Bo gets promoted, there's the chance that Kevin moves up to AA.
And Jesse, you mentioned it's been a while since you and I have spoken, which just makes me feel old. But then when you mentioned Dante Bichette's kid is not too far from the majors, that makes me feel even older.
Well, the Blue Jays love their bloodline.
Yeah.
So I saw Vladimir Guerrero Jr. last year as well. This year I saw Roger Clemens' kid Casey. I've seen Craig Biggio's kid Kevin come through. I'm kind of curious who the Blue Jays are going to draft this year.
Jesse, what is the grind like as the play-by-play voice in the minor leagues of the Lansing Lugnuts?
I really have to take it day by day because I don't know. It's such a developmental league. There might be somebody like Kevin who purely busts out, or there might be another player. For example, we have a pitcher named Danny Jimenez who in April was not looking good and suddenly is throwing 94 to 96 with a hammer curve. At any moment, a guy can establish himself as a prospect. So it teaches me to have a lot of patience with guys with their flaws as they're learning and as they're developing. But in general, after we get through the cold of April, it gets beautiful over the course of the summer.
What's your game plan personally, Jesse? How long have you been in Lansing? And hey, I know you would like to continue to move up the chain as well, right? Get a chance to call games for a major league team. Is that the ultimate goal for you?
That would be a pleasure. Yes, that's the whole. If they're willing to ask, I'm willing to accept. I went from Ithaca College, graduating in 2004. To Brockton, Massachusetts in 2005, to Montgomery, Alabama, 2006-07, to Southside Chicago, 2008, and I've been with the Lugnuts since 2009. So we'll see what the next step is along the way, but I'm just working to improve myself, same as the players.
Hey, Jesse, I know you're a Maryland fan. Back to our days at IC, we have a local guy, Kevin Herter, who is from our area, didn't just declare, but decided to leave his name in the NBA draft. Do you still keep up on your Terps in any way?
He's the Red Mamba. I sure do. I think that this is going to be great for him. He's a knockdown shooter. He's got great athleticism. You put him with the right team and the right system, and he can be most definitely a player who can support, who can help out an NBA team in those first couple of years while he finds his sea legs. I'm looking forward to see where he goes in the draft.
Jesse, we appreciate a few minutes. Thanks for the insight on Kevin Smith, who we are following closely here in the Capital Region. Appreciate a few minutes, and good luck to you the rest of the season.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Jesse. Thanks, buddy.